All right, we're going over all four of the College Football Playoff 2024 quarterfinal games. Let's not waste time. All right, this is Winning Cures Everything. It's a college football podcast, and I'm your host, Gary Seegers, at GaryWCE on all the different socials. We got four games to discuss today. It's not going to be very long, but we are going to go through the stats analysis of all four of the College Football Playoff games. Let's go ahead and dive in. By the way, if you haven't, check out the BetUS College Football Show. Very easy to find. There's a link in the description. But we have gone over every single bowl game, or will be going over every single bowl game. Deep dives on all of them. Make sure and tune in to that. All right, let's pull it up. The Fiesta Bowl on New Year's Eve. We've got Boise State taking on Penn State, and Penn State currently a 10.5-point favorite or 11, depending on where you get the number. My number has Penn State favored by like 2.5. I don't believe that it is weighted accurately based on talent, etc. You look at the talent profile for both of these teams. Penn State number 11, Boise number 77. And if you look at who Boise has played, number 81 strength of schedule, Penn State number 27. Now, strength of record certainly plays into it. Boise number 9 in ESPN strength of record, Penn State number 6. But power ratings wise, I've got Penn State by like 6 on a neutral. I think it should be more than that, honestly. My numbers, there's not a good way to weight these things accurately. But, you know, we'll give it our best shot here. We'll look at exactly what these teams have done. Penn State number 4 in PPA margin. Boise is number 14 in PPA margin. Boise's defense is just not great by any stretch of the imagination. So, looking at this, Boise number 11 in PPA per pass, but they are number 112 in passing explosiveness. You're going to have to find a way to be explosive against this Penn State defense. Penn State number 42 in havoc created. Boise number 20 in havoc allowed. However, there's not a team on Boise's schedule, even with Oregon, in the state that Oregon was in when they first played back in week 2, nobody has come close to what Penn State can do as far as a pass rush. This is, you know, it's interesting. You look at this Penn State offense, they should be able to feast on this Boise defense. Boise, number 35 in rushing success rate allowed. Penn State is number 8. Number 36 in offensive line yards allowed, number 22 in stuff rate. But they don't match up well because who they have played allowed them to get to these numbers. These are raw numbers, garbage time excluded. We can look at numbers all day long. Penn State is number 6 in 5 factors plus talent. Boise is number 13. This is the situation. Maddox Madsen is going to have the game of his life for this to make sense, because Penn State, as far as them stopping the run, they are number 11 in yards allowed per rush, number 29 in rushing success rate allowed, number 2 in offensive line yards allowed, number 1 in stuff rate. Ashton Genty is a cheat code. However, they are going to be in a world of hurt going up against the talent that Penn State has on this team. There's a reason why the number is 10.5. I'm going to take the 10.5. I think Penn State wins this one by 2 touchdowns or more. I feel pretty strongly about this one, and you'll hear more information on it on the BetUS College Football Show. Next up, we have got the Peach Bowl, because why not send the Texas Longhorns and the Arizona State Sun Devils all the way over to Atlanta to play a playoff game? Arizona State is currently a 14-point underdog. I think you can find some 13.5s out there as well. This is an interesting spot. I've got Texas favored by only 8 here. I wish that Tyson was not injured for Arizona State. I wish he was a little more healthy. Not a little more healthy. I wish he was in. How's that? Simple enough. But what's the kid's name? Stovall, I believe. I may be saying that name wrong. Senior wide receiver that just had 4 catches, 91 yards in the Big 12 title game. He certainly made sure that Arizona State did not miss Tyson all that much. So You look at special teams on these two, number 131 and number 115. These are two of the worst special teams in the country. So you could see some mistakes happening for both of these. Both are really bad in penalties. We're penalty yardage, number 65 and number 82, but you're only looking at about 4 yards difference in those two, or maybe 3. The difference here is really talent. Texas, number 4 in team talent composite. Arizona State is number 30. Arizona State, number 15 in PPA margin. That's predicted points added margin. Texas, number 7. And then you start looking at ESPN strength of record, et cetera. Texas, number 4. Arizona State, number 13. But yes, if you want to get down to the brass tacks, no, Texas does not have any ranked wins or whatever. Arizona State actually has better ranked wins. The issue is that Texas has played a lot of teams with winning records or that are going to bowl games, et cetera, and they've dismantled them thoroughly. We'll say that. I think that's the easy way to put it. Texas certainly belongs here. They've proven it over and over and over. We won't get into the CFP discussion. Indiana did as well. I don't know that SMU did. Looking at success rate, et cetera, Texas, number 27 in offensive success rate. They are number 22 in defensive success rate. There's a bigger gap for Arizona State. They are number 8 in offensive success rate, but they are number 78 in defensive success rate. However, when you go and look at that Arizona State defense, they're number 58 in PPA allowed per pass, number 26 in PPA allowed per rush. So even though teams are able to move the ball on them, they don't exactly give up a lot of points. Arizona State, number 67 in scoring opportunities per game. That's drives inside their 40-yard line. But they're only number 49 in points per scoring opportunity. Texas, number 55 in points per scoring opportunity on offense. If Texas can finish drives the way they did against Clemson, then this should be a pretty. It should go the way of the Longhorns. We'll say that. However, I think they're going to have a little more difficulty doing that. And Arizona State, I think, will be able to move the ball on this Texas defense a little bit. Currently, number 5 in the country in offensive PPA per drive. I think Arizona State is going to come out and look good early. First half point margin, you got 2 top 10 teams here. Arizona State is number 9 in first half point margin. Texas is number 1. So I think the first half could be fairly close because they're both going to be throwing haymakers to try and get an early edge. However, in the second half, Arizona State number 49 in second half point margin, Texas number 18. I think this thing could get away from Arizona State late. So I kind of like an Arizona State first half on this. But for now, we're on this show, we just picked the full game. I'll take Arizona State plus 14. I think they could hang around in this one. And we know that Dillingham, his teams do not quit. So, yeah, give me Arizona State plus 14 for this one. All right. Tickets are expensive. Bottom line, and if you're looking for late Christmas presents or whatever, tickets are the way to go. Give experiences, all that kind of stuff. Go to ticketsmarter.com. Use the promo codes WCE10 to get $10 off an order of $100 or more. WCE20 gets you $20 off an order of $300 or more. Very simple. Very simple. And you can do it every single time you buy tickets. It's not a one-time sign-up bonus. So do yourself a favor. Think smarter with Ticket Smarter. Also, we're proud to have Go Sleeves as a sponsor of the show. GoSleeves.com/WCE. It's going to get you 15% off your order of the best compression sleeves on the market. It's the best kinesiology technology out there, and I vouch for them. Very, very good stuff. GoSleeves.com. Do your research for the compression sleeves, compression shirts, stuff for ankles. They got gels. They got everything that you could possibly need. So go ahead and check them out. GoSleeves.com. BettingCFB.com is where you can get these stat sheets and whatnot. I put them out whenever there are new games announced, etc. The bowl ones are already out, although it's kind of hard to get stats on teams whose best players are sitting out. So, it is what it is. But we do a lot of bonus content over there. Did a bonus podcast last week, etc. So, $5 a month, $50 for the year, and it's just me. You're helping me keep this thing going, and I would certainly appreciate that. If you've not already, hit the subscribe button. All right, let's dive in. We got 2 more games to discuss, so let's get to it. The Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. This one, of course, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, so that the sun can set on the San Gabriel Mountains, blah, 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 blah. You guys know what's up. Oregon going against Ohio State. Ohio State is a 2.5-point favorite, and would you look at that? My number has Ohio State favored by exactly 2.5 in this spot, which is pretty wild. I've got Ohio State power rated number 1. I've got Oregon power rated number 4. Yeah, I mean, these are really, really good football teams. Ohio State number 1 in predicted points added margin. Oregon is number 9. Oregon's defense is the worst unit on the field, and I don't believe that's close. They are number 30 in PPA allowed per drive on that. Offensive success rate, Oregon number 5. Defensive success, they are number 19, and they are really bad at stopping the run. Ohio State, not great at running the football. We'll look at that. Now, the numbers would tell you yes, but they have lost their starting center. They have lost their starting left tackle, and I think they'll have some success here because the guys that are backing them up are pretty good. But man, number 7 in PPA per rush, and Oregon number 82. Now, I would say that part of this is skewed because Oregon had to play against Ashton Genty early in the season, and they were not set up for that. They were rotating a lot of guys. They weren't ready to roll at the start of the season. However, they just gave up 300 yards rushing to Penn State. Now, I do think that Penn State can run the ball better than Ohio State, but Ohio State's got some killer backs, and they got a mobile quarterback. So we've already seen this matchup once. Oregon won it by 1 point in Eugene, and really Ohio State just ran out of time. So you look at this, you're looking at 5 factors plus talent. You've got Ohio State number 2, Oregon number 3. You start diving into first half point margin. Both of them are top 5 in the country. Number 3 for Oregon, number 4 for Ohio State. In the second half, though, Oregon number 13 and Ohio State number 1. The net explosiveness here is big to me. Ohio State is number 8 in net explosiveness. Oregon is number 73. They are not explosive on offense. Number 107. If you have to maintain drives against Ohio State, I think that could be detrimental. Ohio State number 1 in points allowed per scoring opportunity on defense. Even if you get down into the opponent 40-yard line, they only allow 2.05 points each time that their opponent gets down there. Now, Oregon is number 10. Oregon might be able to finish some drives here. On the other side, Ohio State number 15 in points per scoring opportunity. They can finish drives 4.60 each time they get inside the opponent's 40. Oregon number 57, 3.68 points allowed. They are not great at stopping teams from scoring once they get down there. So, defensive red zone conversion percentage, number 80 for Oregon. They can't stop teams once they get down there. So, I'm going to roll with Ohio State. What they showed against Tennessee is that they are going to play their style of football, and they're not going to worry about out-physicaling. They're not going to do that because they can do that to a lot of teams. They've got the best roster in the sport. Oregon, we can say they faced a little bit of adversity. They've not gotten beat yet. I don't think we're going to have an undefeated team this year because Oregon's the only one left. I will take Ohio State to cover the 2.5 on that one. And our last game here, the Sugar Bowl, New Year's Day night. Georgia against Notre Dame. Georgia currently favored by 2.5 at multiple spots. You can find 2s out there. No. We got a 1.5, we got a 2, and we got 2.5s. Okay. So I was making sure this thing had not moved on me while I'm recording here on Monday, December 23rd, before I do the BetUS show. Regardless, this one's interesting. Carson Beck, the quarterback for Georgia, is out. So you look at these passing numbers for Georgia, it is not going to be the same. Gunnar Stockton is the backup quarterback. But let's look at exactly what Georgia does rushing the football. Number 76 in PPA per rush. Oh, my number, by the way, has Notre Dame favored by 5.5. My power rating, and don't pay attention to those last 4-week stats. It is all kind of screwed up thanks to the bowl schedule, et cetera. But I've got Georgia power rated number 6. I've got Notre Dame number 2, and you're looking at about a 4.5 point difference on a neutral just in power rating. This number, the 5.64, is stats included. So this is an interesting spot. When you're looking at team talent, Georgia number 2, Notre Dame number 10. It's a big difference when you lose the starting quarterback, though. This Georgia offense, number 76 in PPA per rush, number 79 in yards per rush. Well, Notre Dame is number 30 in yards allowed per rush. They are number 59 in PPA per rush. But they've also played 2 service academies. It's kind of a big deal, right? They're number 14 in rushing explosiveness allowed. Well, Georgia is not explosive at all running the ball. Offensive line yards allowed, number 49 for Notre Dame. Georgia's offense, number 92 in offensive line yards. They are number 102 in stuff rate allowed. Notre Dame is only number 89 in stuff rate, but again, when you've played service academies, et cetera, the number is going to be rough. Standard downs, Notre Dame's defense, fantastic. Al Golden has done a fantastic job with that. Something that could play into this game, Georgia is number 7 in special teams efficiency. Notre Dame is number 101. Turnover margin, Notre Dame significantly better. Georgia is number 58. And now that you've got a first-time starter in a huge bowl like this, they're number 63 in giveaways per game. They give the ball away 1.38 times per game, and they're not great at takeaways. So that could be interesting here. The Notre Dame defense is number 3 in interceptions per pass. So 4.9% of the passes that they have defended, they have intercepted. Georgia is number 71 in interceptions thrown per pass, but that's with Carson Beck. Doubt they're going to pass the ball a whole lot with Gunnar Stockton. On the offensive side, Georgia has had problems defending the run all year. They have trouble with mobile quarterbacks. Now, I don't believe that Riley Leonard has the same kind of arm as Haynes King or whoever else, right? But Notre Dame, number 2 in PPA per rush. They're number 31 in rushing success rate, number 1 in rushing explosiveness. In those stats for Georgia, number 60 in PPA allowed per rush, number 31 in yards allowed per rush, number 36 in rushing success rate allowed, and they are number 52 in rushing explosiveness. This sets up for Notre Dame to have a lot of success on the ground unless Georgia does something crazy and show up completely different than they have. They do have the talent to be able to do that. 5 factors plus talent, that's just overall efficiency, explosiveness, blah, 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 blah. All the things that win football games for you. Notre Dame is number 1. Georgia is number 5. Now, we do need to pay attention to this. Notre Dame, number 39 in strength of schedule. Georgia, number 1. Georgia has played the most difficult schedule and found a way to come out on the other side. But they have Gunnar Stockton starting at quarterback for them. I think that's huge. So, I'm going Notre Dame, plus the 2.5. If this thing gets up to 3, oh, boy, howdy. There ain't no telling what I'll put on it. But I feel good about this. I feel good about it. Give me Notre Dame. Give me Notre Dame. And I've already talked about it on the BetUS show. So, recap. Penn State minus 10.5. Arizona State plus 14. Ohio State minus 2.5. Notre Dame plus 2.5. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. All that good stuff, if you would so kindly. Check out bettingcfb.com. Check out the BetUS College Football Show. And that is going to wrap this one up. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. God bless college football, and hopefully all of your tickets cash this week. Thanks for listening to Winning Cures Everything. Make sure and follow me on Twitter at GaryWCE. If you want to toss in a question, you can email me, Gary@winningcureseverything.com. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.